Hi everyone, we are back, and I mean it for real this time because it's been a month since we recorded a video. It's a new year, a new decade. Welcome to the Top Drive Show. My name's Josie and I'm an analyst at Hutch.
I'm Tim and I run the marketing and analytics at Hutch.
And I'm Jonathan and I am design director at Hutch.
This episode we're going over our January Q&A. So we've been back to the December Q&A. We've gone through all of the comments and we've picked our favorites. You should know the rules by now. Go into the comment section of this video and leave your questions. If you see a question someone else has left that you like the look of, give it a like because we look at the most liked comments first. Let's get straight into it with some questions. These are in no particular order. We've picked our favorite questions. The first one comes from Josh the Car Guy, who asks, any plans to have a contest where you choose a fan-made card to put into the game?
Plans feels like too strong a word, I think, but an interest and a desire for this is I would go, I would go that far. It's just a really nice idea. I mean, in a way, it's the thing that I've always liked about, I think Top Drives works as well as it does because it sort of reflects the idea that the car culture and car community in the real world is so passionate and so varied, and there's just so much to it. And a big part of that is what you drive and what you've done to it and the story behind it. And so it would be we would really like to reflect that in the game in some way, exactly what that looks like and how we structure I'm always talking about the logistics of things.
Well, there's a rights question, right? When it comes to the photo, if you've just made a fan-made car by just Googling a picture, that's probably not going to work. We'll just find out who owns that picture. But if a picture you have taken, you know, now there's something that could work in that sort of area. So we'd have to figure out how that would work exactly, but
Hashtag Top Drives spotted.
Wow.
No, that might not be. That might not be a feasible use of that.
But no, I mean, good question, and yeah, we love the idea, and it's sort of it gets talked about. It's probably all we can say at this point.
Okay, thank you, Josh the Car Guy. Next question comes from a familiar name, Top Drives Pack Openings, who asks, do you see there being more tuning companies in the game? Like Roof, for instance. For example, Shelby, Celine, Hennessy. Each of these companies has their own cars. Think of the Cobra, Daytona, stuff like that. But they also tune cars like Ford Mustangs, Camaros and other cars. Then we could have special versions of those cars like the Celine Mustang or the Hennessy Ford Velociraptor. There could be so many new cars.
Yeah. So I think there's a nice short answer to this, which is yes. Yes. We tune, you know, in the game already features the concept of kind of tuning up your cars, and obviously there's a whole world of kind of tuner / manufacturers to varying degrees in terms of kind of whether it's new cars or falls under the manufacturers, right? That is one area that kind of complicates this slightly, in that depending on the tuner in question, they're either considered a manufacturer in their own right, which keeps them simple because we just speak to them, or it requires a double license, basically, a sort of double approval, which is not too big an overhead. So, yeah, I guess for me, this one falls into the category that tuning, the tuner world is so big that it feels like, I know we've added a few, but it feels like we could potentially do something quite interesting with this.
In a bit of a different way, not just here's more cars just to put on the pile.
Yes.
They're actually somehow different.
So and I know that there's conversations, there's lots of conversations that happen sort of on and around the team, and that's the sort of direction that's gone. That it's kind of like the tuning world feels interesting enough that actually what could, if we're going to build on that, what does that look like? What could we do with it? I can confirm there's nothing concrete yet, but
very interested in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
And a good thorough question as well.
Yep, thank you very much. Also earning a carbon fibre pack is Crocia with the question, when will we be able to buy ceramic packs in bulk? Say I've been saving up for a while, it's rather tedious to have to buy one pack after another. I would much prefer to have a tap a plus sign or something to increase the number of packs that I'm about to buy. So that's some hardcore.
You can buy 10 ceramics at once, of course, but for gold, which probably you shouldn't do. Don't buy ceramics for gold. But if you need the food, that's the way to do it. But yeah, what you're talking about, you've hoarded hundreds of thousands or even millions of cash for the right moment, and then it's time to open ceramics, and they're 32,500 each. So it's a lot of packs. I've done this myself, especially when a new update comes out. And record the video, and here we go. I think the nice thing about that is the way that we order the cards in the packing top drives, right? We generate what you're going to get, and then we order them by RQ. So the last one is the highest RQ, and that feels really exciting actually, having 5 or 10 ceramics, and it's a constant build rather than what you typically get is rubbish. And then occasionally there's a radical surprise, whereas turning that into a huge build.
There'd be a steady, but much grander building up. And actually, I mean, even just the suggestion in there of actually adding a little plus kind of pip or a little button, and you just tap it, and the cost sort of.
Keep just how many do you want? I want this many.
The cost just updates, as you're doing that. It's really nice. Probably some horrific technical headache that I'm not thinking of.
Right. But I wonder if we can even. I should check if we can just deploy this as an offer, just as a one-off. It's hey, you can buy 10 ceramics for cash now. I don't know if there's certain things that are hard-coded that you can't just mess with. I'll check out if there's a way to do that.
Yeah, I think that one feels like it actually not just quality of life list. That almost sounds like we will actively investigate
check that out
after the filming.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Chrysia. Next question comes from It's Blitzer, who asks, will there ever be an Australian resistance or Australian renaissance for top drives? I'd love to see our cars in the game. Beastly looking cars like the V8 supercars, all years of them. Holden Monaro, Ford XRs and Falcons would be so awesome. So yeah, Australian racing cars.
Yeah, we've currently got 3, I think.
Something like that. No, I know it's actually a very poor showing of Australian performance cars. I mean, I would love. They just. I guess the kind of short answer is they haven't got to the top of the car list. Yeah. They haven't sort of forced their way up to the top to become the next priority. But completely agree. Something we've done a little bit of with the kind of adding the Nürburgring into the game. There's obviously some quite very famous tracks in Australia, some fairly epic V8 touring car racing that goes on there. So. Yes, I think kind of, I guess the way the updates have been going, they sort of revolve around a certain mass of, or certain quantity of new cars that kind of powers the updates. And one question will be, can
Australia on its own
justify that and give us a really proper update? I think we just need to go off and kind of investigate a little bit. I know. And this might be kind of an overly simplistic view, but I know there's kind of quite a strong connection between, they're very different cars, but the kind of Asian market, and particularly sort of Japanese kind of tuning culture and sort of Australian car market are quite closely linked. So possibly there's a way of sort of bringing an entire
Australasian
renaissance.
It's not Renaissance anymore.
Nice.
Might be a way to do it to get the numbers where we would like them for a major update. But definitely there's no reason why we're not against Australian muscle cars or anything like that. We love them. I love the Maloo. Maloo's still got it's one of the best names in the whole game. It's fun to say, it's fun to look at. I'm assuming it's fun to drive. I've never driven one, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot of fun. We would like to get some more in.
Good. Okay. And the last question is sort of 2 questions combined. So thank you to Kevin Cray and Juan Cruz Campora di Catano, who asked, has the team ever thought of adding a second lap to some races? Could add a bit of strategy to tracks like the fast circuit or the twisty circuit, because there are times where a better MRA can't quite catch up to the car before the finish. That'd be more likely to win with a second lap. And also, have you thought about making more layouts to some maps? like Santa Monica, the Stock City, the Mountain, Tokyo, and Monaco. They have streets that aren't being used. We could turn that into an exciting new challenge. So sort of more layouts on existing maps.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple of good questions. I mean, we have some experience at Hutch of multi-lap racing with some of our other titles, and so we get, actually going back to the beginning of Top Drives, one of the things we really wanted, and we didn't really know how well it was going to play out until we actually got enough cars in the game, is that moment where it's not obvious who's going to win, and possibly because of the way that the challenge is structured, that there's a change of positions. It's just, I mean, it's great in real life, and it's great in Top Drives, and I think, as suggested there, potentially going to a second lap could introduce more of those moments where a car's strength comes into play over a slightly longer period of time. I think we'd have to, I mean, there's actually, linking to the second question in terms of, are we going to do more with the streets, with the environments that we've got? I know actually there was a plan, there's a kind of secret thing that never made it into the game in Monaco, that there's actually some very narrow back streets, and there was going to be a whole feature that cars under a certain width would be able to take a shorter cut than the bigger, wider supercars.
Oh no.
And I think would just be great, but making it work was almost impossible, because you get these weird outliers like Caterhams, which are really narrow.
Yeah.
And so they would be able to take the back road. And so the idea was
What's
to
wrong with
try
that?
and, well, the idea was that if you were in a tiny little cheap Super Mini, you could take the tiny little back road, and the person in their McLaren would have to...
Usually you would have no chance, but a
Yes.
Caterham's got the best of both.
So there was a few cars where that just kind of broke that, and we never quite resolved it enough to get it in game. But the appetite is there. I think there's something really interesting about using a bit more of those environments, because like is pointed out, they exist, and there's more streets than we're using.
That's right. It's efficient. I like that.
Yeah. Yes, very
It's
efficient
something
for
we already
us.
have. Yeah.
This second lap thing, I think probably goes down as an area of investigation for us. I think maybe we have. I need to double check this, but I think we have the ability to quite quickly and easily run some tests and just see whether it does actually bring more cars into play or create some different strategies. Because I think we need to be confident that
it was adding something.
Because obviously the idea with a lot, we want to keep the loop really short and snappy, and obviously extending.
Because I can imagine there will be a lot of cases where it's just the same car wins, the same one wins.
Yes.
And it's really when does that actually, when you go, oh no, wait, this is the 2-lap one, I'm going to put this one on instead. When does that?
We would have to make sure that really did come into play.
Yeah.
So, but it definitely both good questions.
Yeah. So that's it for the questions. So once again, thank you to Josh the Car Guy, Top Drives Pack Openings, Crozier, It's Blitzer, Kevin Cray, and Juan Cruz Campora de Catano. Great. I guess we've done all the questions. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again on the Top Drive Show.